to the big time. You're going to be watching him for a long, long time. Golf at its finest.
My name is Rory McIlroy, and I'm 21 years old. Basically, over half of my lifetime, I've been a pro golfer.
That blend of youth and power.
I've learned how to handle winning big events and carrying myself forward.
The finest player in the world.
When he first came out here as a skinny 19-year-old, you see McIlroy, who's developed a physique now.
That was the reason I got in the gym, was for longevity.
At his brilliant best again.
If I play well in a sustained period, then that will take care of everything else.
He is a different class.
I think that's probably a part of the reason why my longevity and consistency has been what it's been. It's been a great start to the year. I felt like I got a little bit of momentum coming out of the 24 season, and then I've been able to carry that into the first few months of this year.
Rory's historic 2025 season is a testament to his resilience. A series of heartbreaks in the preceding years only propelled him to reach new heights.
Look for this to carry over 300.
And the rest.
338.
Me, him, and Shane tied going in the back nine, and then it's like the switch flipped, and he's hitting every drive right down the middle, controlling his wedges beautifully.
It's an eagle for McIlroy.
There's some venues in our game that just mean a little bit more than others.
Pebble Beach has a popular champion.
He was just getting started. McIlroy's next target was TPC Sawgrass as he continued to raise the bar in a banner year.
In 2024, Rory realized that there were some holes in his golf swing. So while the rest of golf was taking time off during the off-season, he was cleaning up some technical stuff that I think transformed his ball striking.
All of that talent in McIlroy's body is going to end up winning this championship.
I've had to learn to play this golf course and adapt my game to it in some ways.
McIlroy's got another player's title.
He now had 2 wins in his first 5 starts of 2025.
To think that I've won this now for, a couple of times, and, I've been coming here since 2009. 10-year-old Rory would think this was really, really cool.
And then 2 starts later, a childhood dream was achieved at the Masters. He finally donned the green jacket in his 17th start at Augusta National.
There is the Masters champion, Rory McIlroy.
It was the final leg of the career Grand Slam, coming 11 years after his last major. He was just the 6th player to complete the Slam, and the first since Tiger Woods in 2000. In his Masters win, Rory displayed the resilience that has defined his career.
Now, there's rarely a group that I play in where I'm not the oldest person in that group. So, yeah, longevity is something that I'm super proud of, that I've been a professional golfer for 18 high-quality years.
Rory's golfing life began with humble roots in Hollywood, Northern Ireland, where his success seemed written in the stars.
Have a big swing. Big swing. From the age of like 6 or 7 years old, I would tell everyone I was going to be the best golfer in the world. I realized that I was better than most of the kids out there, and sometimes I probably let it get to my head a little bit when I was younger.
Some people have a gift. Rory's not exactly 6'5". If you could measure, if you could weigh talent, he's a heavyweight, always has been. As a teenager, he was the one guy in Europe they talked about.
I said, doesn't have the record that Tiger Woods had at 19, but I reckon this young man swings the golf club better than Tiger did.
And within 18 months of turning pro, he earned his first win on the DP World Tour. Rory entered the top 20 in the world ranking before turning 20, and opportunities on the PGA Tour soon followed.
Okay, Rory, thanks very much for coming in and joining us. How are you feeling looking forward to your debut?
It's great to be over here. The course is in great shape, and looks like it's going to be a good week.
welcome to America. And
Thank
good
you
luck
very
this week.
much. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
But just as things were taking off on tour, a lingering injury was cause for concern.
When I was 18 or 19, I had a herniated disc, L4, L5, and I was told that my career could only last a handful of years.
This was a reality check for Rory, and in some ways a weird blessing in disguise, because it forced Rory to shift his lifestyle.
I've always been very flexible, which gives me a lot of speed through the ball. That's where I get all my distance from. But I've started working on stability because I put so much load on my lower back during my golf swing. Middle of 2010, I realized that this isn't going to get any better unless I start to take care of myself better. So getting in the gym, eating better.
As he started getting in the gym, it started giving him the strength to support all this flexibility, and suddenly he was more in control of his own body and in control of the golf club.
From Belfast, Northern Ireland, please welcome Rory McIlroy.
That's 7 birdies and an eagle.
To win a golf tournament the way I did, you sort of need to have that little bit of naivety of youth or like innocence to not really understand what you're doing is pretty special.
How about making it? Good call.
He does indeed!
Welcome to the big time, Rory McIlroy.
While Rory's rise was just beginning, his resilience was tested at the 2011 Masters, where he shot a final round 80 to lose a 4-stroke lead.
On the last day, I was trying to be someone else that I wasn't. I was trying to be hyper-focused, not look at anyone, not talk to anyone. That's where it went wrong for me.
It was disastrous. And something that leaves a mark for a lot of players.
For me, it was, am I ever going to get that opportunity again? The mentality I had after that was, let's try to get yourself back in that position as quickly as possible and see if you've learned from your mistakes.
But again, resilience there. He goes to the next major, wins by 8 at the US Open.
Congressional is a great golf course, and he just took it to its knees. And everybody was left in the dust. Rory fit the bill. He won in a similar way to Tiger Woods.
It's great for the game of golf, and I'm proud to be a part of the so-called new era, and trying to bring golf to new people and make it cool.
He was golf's new phenom and measuring stick. His dedication to body and mind was about to bring even more success.
I always correlated fitness and getting in shape and making my health a priority with playing my best golf. And that's why I've continued to do that since.
Definition of greatness in sport, especially golf, is longevity. If you can last a decade or a decade plus, you're special. If you can do a decade and a half, nearly 2 decades like Rory McIlroy, you're great.
You need to stay healthy, most of all. You gotta have the hunger and the drive to continuously work on your game, even when you think there's not much room to get better.
We know every player, no matter who it is, has ups and downs in their careers. But because he's a true champion, he'll always fight through it.
You gotta have perseverance. The ones who work at it hard and believe in themselves, they come out the other end.
The biggest key to Rory's longevity is that he's really transformed himself from a talent early in his career to this elite athlete.
In 2012, Rory McIlroy took his physique to a new level and became his generation's model of fitness. His transformation was a catalyst for his career and the cornerstone for his sustained success.
Started to get into a little bit of Olympic lifting. Snatches, cleans, squats, lunges, bench press.
He became a different athlete. He became a real athlete.
He has ascended to the top of the world at the age of 22.
PGA Championship broke Nicklaus's record, margin of victory.
It was a great week at Kiowa. Being able to separate yourself from a major championship field and winning by 8.
His 5th PGA Tour title at the age of 23.
I'm getting to that stage where, I'm thinking, well, this is what I should be doing. I should be lifting a trophy at the end of the week.
Rory McIlroy has won back-to-back playoff events.
I'm going to try and keep the run going for as long as possible.
Rory McIlroy at his brilliant best again.
He won 3 consecutive tournaments in 2014, including 2 majors. He now had 3 legs of the career Grand Slam at just 25 years old.
Winning the Open Championship, especially as a player from that part of the world, it's probably the biggest win of my career.
2012 to 2014 is that coming of age where he realizes not just potential, it's the reality of it. I remember that being a pivotal moment, but then a pressurized moment because it's what next.
My 2015 has been an interesting year. It started pretty well. Won a couple of times.
World #1 outlasts them all.
The finest player in the world. Put together all he needed to do today.
After that, my season was sort of derailed. Had an injury, missed a good chunk of the summer.
People would say it's just an ankle injury that healed. I remember talking to his trainer at that specific time, and I said, how bad is it? He said, it's bad.
McIlroy persevered and continued his winning ways in 2016.
Everybody was wondering when Rory was going to be the old Rory. This week, he was indeed. Classic Rory McIlroy. No way!
Including another monumental first.
Rory McIlroy wins the FedEx Cup!
17, it was quieter, and I think it was becoming clear that need another major.
There's been other things because of the ankle injury in 15 or the rib injury in 17 that I've had to tweak here and there just to try to manage those things.
Rory's fitness was pivotal as he overcame injuries while putting up notable results. However, in 2017, he went winless worldwide for the first time in nearly a decade.
It was the first time there was a lot of negativity that was focused at him personally and his game. People would nitpick, and then he stopped winning the majors.
That was piling pressure on week in, week out that I think was a burden for Rory, and it was starting to build there.
Important lessons were still to be learned throughout both the lows and the highs. Rory McIlroy continued to evolve, and some of the greatest years of his career were yet to come.
Whoop is a tool that by focusing on sleep and recovery along with exercise, it gets athletes in a mindset of what can I do to perform better for longer. Rory McIlroy was one of the first players on the PGA Tour to really embrace and adopt the technology.
Longevity is a big thing from a performance standpoint for me. I've been a professional golfer for nearly 18 years, and having tools like Whoop to help you on that journey I think is super important.
Just launched Health Span with Whoop Age, which tells you how old you are relative to your actual chronological age. It's designed to help people both perform better and be healthier.
We looked at 5 years of tour data, 380 professional golfers. And what we saw is that the individuals who managed their recovery better and managed their sleep better perform better by up to 3 strokes.
I have to be really disciplined about everything that I do. It's great to have the Whoop tell you that you're on the right track.
There's no reason for people to guess about their health anymore. The data is too good. So we're in a position where we've never had more agency over the trajectory of our health than we do today.
We're excited to see people really invest in their new physiological baseline and then ultimately live a healthier life.
I've had a great decade or more on tour, and all that knowledge that I've gathered I can put into these next 10. My body feels as good as it ever has at 30, so I'm excited for the future.
As Rory was turning the page in his 20s, he continued to build on the foundations laid years ago in Northern Ireland.
Maybe one of the greatest swings in the game.
Everything perfectly sequenced up, wonderful balance.
He's got a swing that is his. He hasn't really tried to put his body in positions that it hasn't been used to across his whole lifetime. Yes, it's matured, yes, it's more polished, more efficient, but it's the same framework, really.
Rory isn't that metric-based when it comes to his golf swing, but he's incredibly metric-based and data-focused when it comes to his health.
I just wanted to know more about my body and myself and how I recover. I just wanted to optimize what I do.
He tracks the amount of grams of protein he eats a day, the amount of hours of sleep he gets. He tracks all these different parameters within himself.
With focus on both body and mind, a more complete Rory was beginning to emerge.
Rory McIlroy is a Players' Champion.
The hardest thing for him was to separate Rory the golfer from Rory the man. And it was only about 10 years into his career when he realized that
Who I am as a person isn't who I am as a golfer. And I think that's been the big difference between the highs and lows of the last few years and the more consistent play.
He capped his most consistent season with a second FedEx Cup, joining Tiger Woods as the only players to win that title multiple times.
It's only appropriate that the guy with a win at the Players ends it with a FedEx Cup title.
He was also named PGA Tour Player of the Year for a third time.
It's been a 5-year gap since I won it, so to get back to this level again, it means I'm doing the right thing.
I would say he was getting his game back on track, and then COVID hit probably at the worst time. And I think, in retrospect, Rory was flat for a good 18 months. But if you're a headliner, you want the crowd.
The return of the fans meant a return to Rory's winning ways. 2021 was the start of 5 straight years where Rory won multiple times worldwide, the longest streak of his career.
The roars have returned in golf.
The crowds are back, and I think that means Rory's back.
Yes.
Just sort of stuck my head down and kept going and took advantage of the opportunity that I was given.
Rory McIlroy, with his extraordinary talents, wins a 3rd FedEx Cup title.
I've been waiting a long time to win a major championship after my last one. To share 2 FedEx Cups with Tiger Woods, I thought was a really cool accomplishment, but to get to 3, I would put that up with some of the biggest achievements I've had in the game. This is a year to really build off of, and I'm really excited about going into 23 and beyond.
He'll leave Congaree with the trophy. Win number 23.
But even while succeeding around the world, he also had to overcome some of the most difficult losses of his career.
I think that's the perception that it's just a one-way path to success. You shouldn't be fearful of failure because it should make you better.
Rory always found ways to get back into the fights, and his resilience was on display for all to see.
Oh, wow! An amazing finish for McIlroy, and a first victory ever in Scotland.
Milestone win for McIlroy. A signature performance by Rory McIlroy.
I feel like my entire game is a little more consistent now than it was back in 2014.
It's been so well documented that he's gone 10 years without winning a major, and majors are what Rory McIlroy is measured by.
You're only going to come back one or two ways. And one, you're going to be better than before, or you're going to disappear.
I just want to achieve a lot more. I want to be competing for the biggest titles in the game.
What was so cool to see in his data, going into the Masters, Rory improved his resting heart rate by 6 beats per minute, which is clinically very significant. He improved his heart rate variability, which is basically a measure of how well you can adapt to external stress, by 9 milliseconds. So what Rory did is essentially build in the off season this incredible physiological buffer, essentially, which enables him to withstand the rigors of a season.
I don't see the point in putting all this time and effort into what I do and into my career and trying to master my craft if I don't get to prove to myself that I can do it under the most intense pressure and in the biggest moments in our game to see what I'm made of.
A virtuoso performance by McIlroy.
Despite all McIlroy had accomplished in his long career, one goal still remained.
Masters, what's your jacket size?
I'm gonna be either a 38 or a 40 short. I like it a little more like European style, so a little more fitted, a little more tapered and pinched in.
After a decade of heartache and close calls, Rory still found ways to climb closer to the title that had eluded him.
I've loved Augusta since the first time I laid eyes on it, back in '09. Every time that I've been there and I've had a chance, I've learned something different.
2025 was the year that he finally put on the green jacket after nearly 2 decades of trying. A lifetime's worth of returns to Augusta was guaranteed.
It's not every day you get to fulfill one of your lifelong goals and dreams, and the big thing for me is just how the whole journey sort of resonated with people.
When you start coming up against a wall, like push through them. That's what Rory taught us.
For me, was the ultimate resilience from any golfer I've ever seen.
The only word I can use with the scene on the 18th green at Augusta National was relief.
Rory does Rory things, and he did. I see what he puts into the game, and I see the time and effort he puts into the game, and he deserves it more than anyone.
Even after these close losses, he's pushing himself to get a little better in all these different ways.
People can see themselves in the struggle at times, and everything that you sort of try to put into getting the best out of yourself in that journey.
He just manages all the different aspects of what he needs to be at the highest level, from his technique to his training to his recovery. He's just kind of ticking all those boxes consistently, and that good work's accumulating.
You could conceivably see Rory play at the highest level for nearly another decade. If he stays the course, the next phase actually could be like the first phase. It could be a lot of fun.
Someone from a tiny little town in Northern Ireland worked really hard and followed his dreams and got the most out of what he wanted to achieve.
I want to continue to step outside my comfort zone, challenge myself in different areas of my life. That's the goal for the rest of my life.